Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker here with a green tea. It's winter time. A lot of your green teas came out in the spring, but they are still available. Still a good a good welcome or reminder of what's coming in just a few months. So let's go ahead and get this one started. Scooping out enough here to cover the bottom, say, inch diameter of my little 3-ounce Gaiwan here. That looks like a pretty decent amount. Water's been brought to an early boil, so it started to rumble, but not really a full rolling boil. I'm going to add enough here. A little bit of water will rest just above the rim when I put the lid on. Get this kettle out of the way. Get the lid on and introduce this tea. This is from Teavivre. This is the full-size package that you would get. I received this sample size, so depending on the volume size you get, depending on the packaging. This is an organic superfine DragonWell tea, or Longjing. Sometimes the DragonWell the Longjing is the translation, the Chinese for DragonWell. This particular tea, let's see what other information we want to share about this. On Teavivre's website, you can get a 14-gram sample currently for $4. You find out a lot of information about the background of this tea. For example, this tea is from the Lin'an County or region near the city of Hangzhou in Zhejiang Province. What was I going to say? Now, DragonWell teas are traditionally from the Hangzhou area, the West Lake area of Hangzhou, and this Lin'an is about approximately 50 miles west of the West Lake. So not the most immediate original area, but relatively close. I mean, there are some DragonWells that have been transplanted or cultivated in Sichuan province, which is hundreds of miles away. So this is still fairly close to the original source. It is USDA organic, and there's an organic certification or information on it. That certification, the paperwork that's displayed there, it says it expires in end of October 2012. It's possible, that the certification got renewed and then the new document just hasn't been uploaded yet. So that's something you may want to dig into and check on personally if you're considering making a purchase. Harvest date package I received here says March 3rd, 2012 was the harvest date. The product page says April 8th, so it's somewhere in March or April. So that's basically the information you can find about this tea. Let's go ahead now and talk about the dry leaf, the wet leaf, and the liquor, starting here with the dry. Light sweet notes, sweet being nearly like a candy sweetness almost. I mean, this is almost a light white chocolate type of sweetness, although there's a bit of a sweet pea type of floral sweetness in there too. So it's got a nice rounded, kind of a smooth, almost like a warming sensation to the sweetness here. Looking at the leaves here that I've scooped out, a lot of them are more than an inch in length. You can tell that they are more than one leaf, 2 leaves, and a bud type of setup for most of these. Not necessarily the most closely bunched, depending on how much growth there is as the stem, or as that connection between a leaf, the bud, and the next leaf, or leaf, and so as the leaves fold off and as the tip of the bud grows out further, it will fold off a leaf, grow a little bit, fold off another leaf, and so on. So that spacing between leaf and bud, a little bit larger. You can tell that these are flat. These are traditionally shaped so that they are pressed flat, like a grasshopper wing is often one of the terms that I've seen or heard. Okay, so good color. I mean, it's not the palest, lightest color either that you can get with some of the the very early, the very delicate DragonWells. This one's more of a deeper green, over towards a little bit of a green tinge of yellow there to it. So that's our dry leaf. I'm going to move now, get into a little bit of the wet leaf here and the liquor. First thing I'm going to do is pour. Be able to get into the wet leaf there. Shake out those last few drops. Set that to the side for a minute and kind of give this a sniff. Beany notes, the first thing that hit me. Lima bean type of notes there, lightly cooked. So there's something that's kind of a heat, maybe even associations with kind of a toasted nut type of aspect as well, toasted peanut maybe. So you've got that toasty plus the beany. I got a brief whiff of something kind of vegetal, something kind of mineral, but it dropped off fairly quickly, probably not worth really noting. Give that one more shake and a sniff. The inside of the lid, you're going to get more of the sweeter, again, more of a sweet pea, sugar snap pea kind of sweetness there. So that's there. Let me let me kind of brush off a few of these leaves and leaf portions that stuck to the lid as I shook, and be able to pull out a few of these leaves here, talk about them. Looking for that kind of standard 2-leaf and a bud set, which is often what you come to expect with a DragonWell. Looks like I've got a set here. Noticing the tip, not very dark, not very blackened, which meant not as much oxidation took place. Depending on how it is snapped or cut, you can get a heavier browning. And of course, browning and oxidation change the profile ever so slightly of the overall tea, or they can change it. Here's what you do have: a leaf, and bud set. Leaves a little bit ragged, a little not fully intact, not pristine there, but an example of what is there. Let's see what else. I pulled out what I thought was another leaf set. You may get, so again, some of these pieces that are not fully intact. You may get little brown, little pieces that have tinges of light brown here and there, a little oxidation that took place. Let me pull out, try to get examples of more leaves here or more sets here. Here's another set, an individual leaf that is intact, very delicate, very small. Looks kind of nice there. Let me pull out one more set here just to kind of look. A broken leaf there, an intact leaf folded in on itself, and a bud set there. So that's nice looking too. Let me kind of press that down so that can be more easily seen. That looks good. Set that to the side and get to the liquor now. Give this liquor a swirl. Get the steam off the sides there as we look at that. It's a palish. It's a yellow green type of color there. Fairly not too heavy, not too dark yellow, not too yellow brown either. Give it a smell. A little bit of sweet corn type smells coming out, sweet yellow corn smells coming out. Looking down into the cup as well. Nice color, not cloudy. Low astringency, fairly gentle in texture, not any bitterness either in the front or in the back, in the aftertaste either. Give it one more sip here. DragonWells can have, depending on how much they're toasted, they can get more over towards a kind of a nutty type of notes, cashew almost. or they can move over towards that lighter, if they've been lighter pan fired, if there's lighter toasting and heat applied, they can get more over towards a greener, gentler type of texture, softer. This one is over towards that softer type of texture, so you get again gentle, light, sugar snap pea type of notes, snow pea kind of notes there too. Aftertaste, again, that's that sweet corn type of sweetness, sugar snap pea type of sweetness, kind of combined. It's gentle. It's fairly light. It's relatively, compared to other teas as a whole, it's briefer as far as other DragonWells. Yeah, it's in that neighborhood. This one's, I would say it's, medium to a little bit high as far as intensity and duration of aftertaste. So it's got a fairly mellow, gentle sweetness to it. When I look at all the aspects of this tea and I talk about it, this one is not the most subtle with the most diverse nuances. It's also not the boldest with the strongest notes that come out either. So a lot of people tend to fall on either of those ends. They want extreme nuance and complexity and subtlety. On the other hand, people want some strong kind of quenching tastes and character. This one is right there in the middle. Maybe a good growth tea, or if you haven't decided which end of that spectrum you want to be upon, that's something to note. Off-camera tastings, I steeped this one kind of a longer period of time, and was able to get, of course, more astringency. It never got really harshly bitter, but the astringency levels did get higher. So when I look at this tea, I'm going to have to give this tea an 89. Nice positive components, neither too bold nor too complex. A safety, and again, not necessarily one that's from the, not necessarily one that represents the teas that are from that original source of DragonWell teas. So come back to Walker Tea Review to find out about where you fit on all those spectrums of tea experiences.